Welcome to Orbitax Entity Charts.
The screen you see here is the homepage view. From here, you can create entity charts. In entity charts, you can input information about your legal entities, as many as you want. Demonstrate transactions, demo streams, company relationships placed into a visual representation of your chart. The first step in creating your chart is to input all the information in regards to your legal entities. This can be done manually or by using the import features, which allows you to input data from Excel and other secretarial tools including e-files. First, click Entity Data, located at the top left of the screen. Locate the file and the software will upload it by detecting the relevant data. From this, you need to include the necessary columns. Click Add Column, input a column name, and then select the column type from the drop-down menu. Fields from Excel will automatically be created when you import your Excel file. Once all your chosen information has been uploaded, click Entity Designer. The software will automatically create your chart. The architecture extends from default settings within the software, which you can change, redesign, and save as your personal default settings. The information within each entity can be edited by clicking on the Configure Entity Label tab. Now click on Insert Entity Data. Select then from the drop-down menu your selected entity types, or you can manually type in the information yourself. Once your modifications are complete, you can alter the layout by selecting Apply Layout Style. There are also options for you to select different layout views from the drop-down menu as shown. If you are presenting your chart and wish to explain what each entity represents, you can use the Legend feature or insert notes into the chart which you can edit yourself. From the entity chart, you can also demonstrate transactions by selecting Transactions at the top of the screen. For this demo, we have created two transactions. This is to demonstrate how you might show interest for a payment between Entity 8 Singapore to Entity 1 United States, or a royalty payment from Turkey to Switzerland. Each transaction includes all the domestic rates and rules, treaty rules, and European Union rules, which is part of the database which supports the software. To create a new transaction, click Add Transaction and select from the drop-down menu. The payment transaction window will appear. You can now use the drop-down menus to select the appropriate information for the transaction, or you can type this in yourself. Once you have completed this, click on Done, and the transaction will now appear. You can also include additional information for your transactions by selecting Add Column, and choose from the column name and then the appropriate column type. For example, Currency. The software will now automatically fill in the chosen column. You can change the column further by using the drop-down menus. To include detail into the label column, you can select Configure Label, shown on the right-hand side, and select from the drop-down menu what information you would like displayed from the Insert Payment Data. Once selected, click Apply, and your data is now showing. Once back in Entity Designer, the information we entered is now displayed. Another feature is our Filter tool. Click on Entity Chart, and on the right you'll see Filter. This enables you to create different views of your chart. If you have information about your entities and transactions as shown earlier, you select how you want that data displayed. Select Add Entry Data Conditions, and the drop-down menus will appear. This can include multiple conditions for your chart's display. Once you're happy with your filter, click See Filtered Result. A window will display showing the entities that meet your filtered conditions. If you are happy with this, click Done. Showing will be your available transactions between those filtered entities. If you are happy, click OK. As an additional option, the software will insert the filter conditions into a separate entity chart, as shown by clicking Entity Designer. You can make your chart even more specific by holding down the Control key on your keyboard and selecting multiple entries in the chart by clicking on them. Once selected, right-click on your mouse button and select Make Slide from the drop-down menu, and the chart will automatically appear. Once you are satisfied with your charts, you have the option to print out your chart. Click Print in the top right-hand corner, and then you can select paper size, orientation, and so on. You can export your chart. Next to Print, click Export. You can export your chart to PowerPoint, PDF, or Excel. You can export any slide, select a resize option. Once happy, click Export. You will then be asked whether you wish to save a new file or open directly, in this case from PowerPoint. As you can see, the software has amalgamated the entity charts into a PowerPoint presentation. As all the entities are objects, you are now free to edit, modify, or change any of the entities to your liking. There are also advanced design options for your entity charts. Click the icon shown, and the Designer Preferences window will appear. We will select the Design Canvas tab, which allows you the option to enable a page guide. Click Set as Default, and the chart now shows the border lines or watermarks. This will help ensure your chart will stay true to width and length of your specified paper size. If, however, you have a specified paper size or dimension, you can go back to the Designer Preferences and select Layout Format. Using the slide bars, you can determine the vertical height and horizontal width of the distance between your entities. By using the Ownership Format tab, you can determine the level of ownership over or between your entities. This tool is particularly useful when you wish to display minority shareholders, for example. To open up an alternative view of your entity chart, refer to the dark grey arrow center of the editing menu and click. Within this window, you can still export your chart and configure your chosen columns. An added feature to the entity charts is the ability to attach documents. If you click on Transactions, the transaction window will open. Go to the attachment column, select Click to Add. A window will open enabling you to locate the document you wish to attach, which will appear as a link to that chosen attachment. You can create a document attachment column as shown here in the Entity Data window. When you click on the link to that attachment, the document will automatically open.
And that concludes Orbitax Entity Charts.